Helpful hint. If you press your bottom lip to your top lip, you can shut the fuck up.
Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome back to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, an LGBT podcast streaming live on our YouTube channel for our Patreon supporters on the day of recording. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tom, and I am your host. And as always, I'm in the studio with my amazing co-host, starting with the first one.
Hey, y'all, Nick or Trent.
And
J-Bear, a.k.a. your boyfriend's boyfriend.
And while the camera is on you, do me a favor, do that again.
This?
I love how he caresses his face to sort of kind of comb his hair into place. It's hilarious.
Gotta try and keep it.
I'm gonna braid that shit.
I told him, I said, we could do so many different things with that. We can corn braid it. We can like flat iron it. Like, can you imagine what it would
some
look
Viking
like? Some Viking
braids with
I think we should dye it rainbow.
We should. Either that or
Oh
like
my God.
glitter.
We can add. You know how they have the hair things with the glitter?
Yeah.
It's on.
It's
Oh my God, Jay.
Stay tuned to the next episode now.
We're going to decorate your beard.
My beard.
We're going to sit there and do like a whole like glitter bomb.
It's gotta be the bicolors though.
The bicolors?
Yeah.
Whatever colors you want, baby. If you allow us to glitter bomb you, we're going to do it.
We won't do rainbow. We'll do bi.
Yeah, we can do that.
By the way.
But by the way, so interestingly enough, since we're talking about that, you sent us a meme. What did it say?
Okay.
I thought it was cute. I thought it was hilarious. It gave me a chuckle
Yeah.
or a giggle.
If you're attracted to both women and men, but neither of them are attracted to you, I'm afraid you are by yourself.
Oh God! But I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
Gave me a chuckle.
It's funny.
Anyway, we're back. Happy 4th of July for whatever it's worth. You know, the question of the day is, how was your 4th? So maybe I'll do a quick roundtable. Jaybird, how was your 4th?
Good. I actually spent it with my cousins. They do a big old bash at their house. Which they do every year with their neighbor. So close to 200 people there.
Jesus,
Oh my God.
that's too many people.
Yeah.
I would have buried myself
They had
underground.
6 live bands.
What?
Live
Yeah,
bands?
live bands.
Wait, why weren't we invited?
Yeah, it was quite a bit. He had like 5 grills going. There was food out the wazoo there. It was
Like-
insane. Yeah.
What the actual fuck? I
Yeah.
could have eaten.
And I spent much of the evening playing dominoes with my cousin's parents.
It's such a fun
Wow.
game,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Isn't
real
it?
Puerto Rican.
It's
Okay, so can I ask a question about this?
Sure.
Yes.
Because going back to my July 4th,
Yep.
before our little thing on Saturday,
Uh-huh.
I hung out with my neighbors who are also Puerto Rican, and all of a sudden, we're hanging out, we're all talking, we're sitting in a circle. All of a sudden, a Domino's table comes out.
Yes.
Yep, that's the way
And
it goes.
It's like everybody just got up and walked over to it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even know how to play dominoes.
It's a thing, girl. It is a
Yeah.
legitimate, like, it's very competitive.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the person sitting across from you is your partner, and the person sitting across from the other two, they're their partners. And the goal is obviously to get rid of all your dominoes before
The other team,
the
yeah.
other team, and then whatever's left that no one put down, you collect, and those are your points.
Yeah.
So for me, I just think of like, oh, are you setting the dominoes up to do the little like folly thing?
Yeah. No.
No, so
No,
that's
yeah.
not what we're doing. No, it's a thing. It's
Yeah,
a thing
it's
in the Puerto Rican
yeah.
culture. You
Yeah,
know,
a
like
lot of Spanish cultures.
yeah, like some people play chess. You know, like white people
It
play
reminds me
chess.
of what is
We
that?
play
It
dominoes.
reminds me of that game I used to play, Macala? No,
Macala,
Rummy
With the
Cube.
stones?
Rummy Cube.
Rummy
Rummy
Cube.
Cube.
I
Rummy
think-
Cube?
Is it with cards?
No, they're like tiles.
Oh, Like I remember watching,
but it's not Domino's, so I
Yeah.
want to know what the difference
Probably
is.
probably a similar.
It's the white version.
probably.
like I remember watching Crazy Rich Asians. Did you guys
Yeah.
see that movie
Yes.
at the end where Rachel, she's like sitting across
they're
from her
playing
mother?
mahjong?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they have like their version of Domino's. Like I think the domino thing exists in different variations all over the world.
Yeah. And in Puerto Rico, it's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well, I
They-
mean, the way the pace in which my neighbors stood up
yeah,
and
and-
moved,
yeah.
and I was like, oh, the white people are left. Hi guys.
So you should have called me. I would have totally came over and supported you.
Oh yeah, my neighbors are pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know what? You know what's a little weird about hanging out with my neighbors?
Well,
So I'm like
for
the
what?
token gay in like my like,
I feel like you're the
complex.
token gay in a lot of things.
but like whenever I hang out with them, it's all about gay this and gay that, and like they just like ask me all these questions, and I'm like, okay, and I
it's a
They
learning
wanna-
like
opportunity.
they got on me about like, well, why do gay people get the rainbow flag? And I was like, let me pause you for a moment.
Why do you get the Puerto Rican flag? That's what you should have responded with.
Well,
that
they're
would have
Puerto
shut
Rican.
them the fuck up.
But
And you're gay.
Well, here's the thing. I went into the whole thing. I was like, okay, so Gilbert Baker, and I just like started like laying it all out, and they're like,
Yeah,
Like this bitch
It
knows.
was a teaching moment.
Now you should have asked them, do you know who made your flag?
mm.
And then they would have came back and said like, and did you know that your original flag did not have the actual color blue that it has today, that it was a different kind of blue, and that the flag was actually created in New York
See,
and
I
not
wouldn't
in Puerto
know any
Rico?
of that.
I would teach you, girl.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, I gotta put in my
Yeah.
earbud.
The reason Puerto Ricans display the Puerto Rican flag the way we do now is because it was banned, it was illegal, and if you display the Puerto Rican flag when the U.S. first took over possession of our territory, it was considered illegal. You could get thrown in jail
Yeah.
for flying a Puerto Rican flag.
Oh.
And the Puerto Rico flag is basically
A mirror image.
a mirror image of the Cuban flag.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
interesting.
So the
Yeah.
colors are inverted, right?
Like,
So ours is blue star, red, white stripes. Cuba is, I believe, a red star with blue
You know,
and
the triangle
and white
is what's
stripes.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
the white triangle.
I mean, either way, it was a good time. I'm just like,
Yeah, no, but I totally get
here
it.
comes the queen.
Here comes the queen, and of
Yeah.
course she probably came out in all her full splendor, face beat to the filth. You know.
Actually, no.
Oh, you let people see you?
I mean, they've seen it.
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like I just woke up.
which is great.
Yeah. No one wants to see that.
Seeing
I've
that
seen-
it doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, well,
Don't lie.
It can.
We saw it in Massachusetts.
Well, actually, Massachusetts was kind of good because we waited to heavily drink till the wedding night. You didn't get to really like see her like, you know,
And her full.
hungover, waking up the next morning,
pretty.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, we
I
did.
literally,
So you basically had a Puerto Rican fourth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which tracks?
Yeah.
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 I mean, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a question. Based on that, do you think that, you know, having this interaction with your neighbors and being the token gay and everyone sort of kind of being hyper focused on your gayness as a means of conversation, did that make you feel uncomfortable?
No, I mean, it's me.
Yeah, I know.
But like, you know,
She loves to be in the center of attention.
Hello.
yes. But it was funny because during Pride Month, so one of my neighbors, Brian, who is Puerto Rican, and I was hanging out with him. He does everything for everybody. Like he's like a handy, like you, only not a homo. So he can't
Right.
say handy homo. He's a handy hetero.
Yeah.
And so he even helped me out with something recently. And so
This bitch.
during Pride, I bought a couple like the tank I was wearing last week, I think.
Right.
The Pride shirt, you know. And I bought a little captain's hat that's a rainbow captain's hat. And I walked over to his house, knocked on his door, and I was like, "This is for you." He's like, "What's this for?" I was like, "'Cause you're pretty much the captain of our community, but you needed something gay." And so he was wearing it around. It was really cute. It was cute.
Oh my God, that's
That's
awesome. That's great, and it's always good to have, you know, really good relationships with neighbors
Yeah.
and stuff.
See, and the fact that he wore it means a
He
lot.
literally is like,
Yeah.
"And you don't think I'm gonna wear this shit, right?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, I think you're gonna wear it."
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's great. So, and then, you know, well, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Proud of you. letting you're sort of kind of bringing other people into the fold, into the whole your queerness fold, which is great. Jaybird, how was your fourth?
He already told us.
Aside from,
that, it wasn't too bad. I drank a lot.
did you see any fireworks?
I can't recall.
Yeah.
I drank a lot.
I drank a
can't
lot of
recall.
Jameson. I drank a lot of beers. Played
Yeah.
a lot of dominoes.
The only fireworks
I
that
know
I
I made
saw,
it home safely.
yeah, which is good, which is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
The only fireworks I actually got a chance to see were the ones that my neighbor from next door were, popping off with his youngsters in the
middle
front of the
street?
house.
Yeah.
And I just opened my window and yelled, "Don't burn the house down, okay?" Because it was a little too close to the house. I was like, "You shouldn't go to the street."
Move over a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
The Trumpers are done that way. No.
So funny story. I mean, it's not a funny story, but it's a funny story. So Friday before July 4th, right? Wait, July 4th was
Friday.
Friday.
Thursday.
A whole
Rogue storm.
a
my
rogue
God.
storm came out of nowhere, right? And decimated my beautiful backyard. I had limbs everywhere. I had spent the next day afterwards picking shit up and blah, blah, blah. And I remember it was like around 4:59, almost 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I was taking a nap on the couch. I was done with work. I knew I was going to be off on Friday because it was the 4th, and we had a long weekend. And so I was like, you know what? Let me take a nap in case I need to go out, whatever, in case I, work myself up to go out. And all of a sudden, it's like, my dogs are barking. Shit is happening. I look out the window. Shit is flying all over the place. And I'm like, what the fuck? We're in the middle of a tornado. I'm ready to grab my
It
dogs
looked like a fucking tornado.
and
zone.
head into the basement.
Yeah, no, it was crazy.
And my doorbell goes off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you told me this. Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, maybe the wind, something hit the doorbell and it went off. And I'm like, so I go and I open the door. My neighbor on my opposite side, his daughter was just dropped off. She didn't have the keys to get into her house. And she was caught in the storm. Mind you, she's like 14, somewhere around there.
She's a teenager.
She rings my doorbell. She is shooketh. And when I say crying hysterically, she is distraught. She is shaken. And she's like, I can't get into my house. And I'm like, oh my God, honey, you're so, come inside. And I got her a towel. I offered her a warm drink. Do you want some tea? Do you want coffee? And I'm like, she's a 14-year-old. What do you offer a 14-year-old? Right?
Yeah, not coffee.
And then I'm like,
You want
and
some vodka, honey?
and then of course, so now, I'm a
got
gay
a
man.
mango.
Yeah.
You want a cheese stick?
Do you want a kiwi? And then the first thing that crosses my mind, I was like, oh shit, I'm a single man living by myself. Even though I am a gay man, I said, did you call your father? And she goes like, no, I don't have any battery. And I'm like, oh, honey, do you remember your father's phone number? Here, call him right now. Let him know you're here.
Yeah.
Because, I freak out like that with things like that.
Well, also they were gonna find her in the shed, so
So the father had told her, go into the shed, right? Because they were trying to make their way home, but the storm sort of kind of knocked trees down and people
Yeah,
couldn't
there were
get
trees
around.
down on the highway.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And so she goes, I can't go into the shed. I just went in there. There was a spider, so I ran out. And she runs into the storm and into my door. And of course, I sat her down. I got her a towel, and she sat there, and she's like,
He was like, a spider. You didn't burn the shed down?
no, she's not me. And the thing is like she was so soaked and wet that there was water all over my floor. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, don't worry about it, girl. I got a mop.
Yeah.
You just mop. Just sit there. Call your dad. Let him know you're here. And then the father came and obviously rang my doorbell. They picked her up, and they were actually sitting in the parking lot because the storm was in their driveway because the storm was still going. Yeah. And they're like, if you feel comfortable, you can come out now. And she was like, no, I'm sitting right here.
I'll wait.
And I'm like, she's fine. But no, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. I was actually, because I was working from home that day, I had just clocked out. So I went outside. It's like I can't stay still. So I started weed whacking.
And you're right next to Trumbull. I heard Trumbull got it really bad.
They got hammered. So from the Trumbull side, I could see the black skies, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna get some rain.
Right.
You know?
It was some rain.
Some rain.
That was
fucking
some rain.
So I was like, oh, if I hurry up, I could get this done before I get rained on.
Right.
So I started feeling a little drizzle of water, and I was like, "Oh, that's not bad. It's helping me cool off." 2 minutes later, I'm like fighting wind gusts. I got a weed whacker I'm trying to turn off.
You didn't whack your weed off?
Dude, it was.
He still got his beard.
Yeah.
Imagine that shit.
Oh, trust me, the beard was everywhere. It was like that. It was all over the place, and I was like, "Holy
Beard goes.
crap!" Yeah. By the time I made it from the corner of my house into my garage, which is like maybe 50 feet, I was soaked.
I had
Soaked. It was insane.
Yeah, so I heard that it was coming, and I saw like it was getting a little bad outside, and so I was like, okay, and I just sat down and I was like hearing it, and then all of a sudden I get a text message from my neighbor. He's like, I have like a little basil plant and a little tomato plant.
Just a little one.
Yeah, they're growing. And they were outside on my porch, and he's like, "You might want to grab those. I don't think they're gonna make it." And I was like, "Is it really that bad?" I opened my door. I was like, "Oh!" I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, it was
My
nuts.
door
It was
flew
nuts.
open. Ugh.
And this was like all leading into the 4th, right? And so now we had already made plans to have friends over here on the patio and stuff. And I was just looking at my patio like, fuck, I got to clean all this shit up now. It's like, it's a mess. I was distraught. I worked so hard to make everything look so pretty. And then
Yeah,
all
there were tree limbs on everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
Everywhere. The highway, I know the Merritt Parkway had a blockage.
I had a blockage.
You
You always have a blockage.
Well, no, he
Hello.
doesn't. He just fakes it so the
Hello.
plumbers can come by. No.
Hello.
But yeah, it was insane. It was nuts, and it happened just so quick.
Bitch.
It
Yeah.
happened so quickly, and I know I actually so I picked Mom up this week on Saturday
Right.
because I had a vet appointment on Sunday, and I dropped her off, and on the way back I stopped at Home Depot on the way up in Derby. I ran into 2 of the linemen. They were returning some equipment they had rented out. They were doing some work at home. And I was talking to them, and I was like, "So how did it go after the storm? Were you guys busy?" And they were like, "We had 5,000 outages."
It's insane.
And I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah, we had like 80 events. We had
That's crazy.
major outages.
Yeah, my phone died just in case you were trying to call
Yeah,
me.
no, but it happened so quickly that it was maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah. That was it. It was super fast.
Yeah, it got dark, it rained, it got crazy, it got windy, and then it was done. And the sun was back out, and I was like, "The hell was that?" It was like,
yeah, that was nuts.
it was a
What
quickie.
happened
It was a
was-
quickie, but
Yeah.
some towns got really.
So
Almost.
we were supposed to have our fireworks on Thursday night
Yeah. Oh,
here in West Haven.
Yeah.
And they preemptively canceled them and said we're going to do them on our rain date, which was Saturday. Because of the expected storms. I'm like, what expected storms? It looks
Yeah,
beautiful
beautiful
outside.
out, yeah.
Boom. Everything blew up.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
And I was
insane.
like, good call, people. Good call. Like, this is the one time I say the city of West Haven was on their game.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine being on the beach, waiting for fireworks and shit like that starts flying all over the
Hell
place?
no.
Like, all the tents that people pull up. Like,
Yeah.
people do it. You know, I originally wanted to go see fireworks, but, you know, to be very honest with you, with everything that's going on, you know, and this whole administration and, you know, the attack on immigrants, and
No,
I wasn't
correction. This whole shit administration.
Ship administration, yes, that, all of that. I wasn't really feeling very patriotic, so honestly, I really didn't have an urge to go sit somewhere and watch fireworks, you know, and plus, you know, everything with Mom, right?
Yeah.
And which we haven't mentioned, by the way. Last week we didn't do a show because we switched to Mondays. And it so happened that, you know, Mom got a call and said your surgery is scheduled for Monday. And so, you know, 6:30 in the morning, we're at the hospital getting ready for surgery and things like that. And she went through the process, and it's been quite the challenge through recovery. This woman is ready to murder every single nurse that walks into her room.
She doesn't quite understand the fact that she actually can't leave.
Right. So,
Yeah.
they have an alarm on her bed now. So every time she
She's
gets
been
up,
tagged.
she has. Everybody rushes to the room because she has been threatening. So, you know, I don't know, if you're familiar with procedures that happen in your stomach area, but when you do and you go under anesthetics, your bowels go to sleep. They're done. They're non-functional, right? And so when you welcome back to Earth, they're still asleep, right? And so one of the things that they do right after surgery is that they monitor you and start feeding you to make sure that they can see that your bowels are moving and that things are happening, that you're passing gas, that you're going to the bathroom, that you're peeing, etc. And she wasn't doing any of that. They were still asleep. So everything that they had put in her was just sitting in her stomach, and she started, throwing up. And so they had to put a tube down her nose to drain the contents of her stomach. And when I tell you, this woman was so angry. Like, she was legit. She can't drink water. She can't drink anything. She can't eat anything while this tube is in her for 3 days. All they did was give her IV fluids, right? By day 3, she was like, if these mofos don't walk up in here and pull this shit out, I saw them put it in. I'm going to pull it out myself. And I'm like, Mother, you can't do that.
But you can't trust a Puerto Rican woman.
You can't, which is why they have an alarm on her bed right now, because she has.
This is why she was tagged.
Yeah.
She legit said she was going to pull the tube out. This morning, she calls me at 6. She goes, these people don't like me. These people don't take care of me. I haven't seen anybody in 2 hours. I was like, Ma, it's 4:00 in the morning. You should be sleeping. I can do this at home. I'm just going to get up and walk out. I was like, you can't do that. So, of course, I had to get myself together. Today I was off and just rush to the hospital and sort of kind of calm her down, speak to the doctors and everything. But to give you an update on Mom, she had her surgery after 6 chemotherapies, and the doctor, who was an amazing doctor, his name is Dr. Altwerger. He's an oncologist at Smilo, and he said that they got it all, and that now it's just a matter of her recovering, right? But she's really just such an impatient woman. I mean, I don't blame her in some cases, but still, I was like, Ma, you got to chill the fuck out.
Yeah,
And, but she's slowly recovering today. Yesterday, they took the tube out, so she was happy about that. Today, her son, me.
Oh, I don't want to hear this story.
I had to bathe my mother.
Oh.
So I said, Ma, you know what? Now that you are, mobile and you're disconnected, let's go give you a shower in the whole 9 yards.
You're tagged but disconnected.
Yeah. And so obviously she gets off the bed. 2 nurses walk in. I was like, I'm gonna give her a shower. Y'all need to. I got this. And it was a weird feeling. It was a weird sensation for me to have to bathe my mother. It's something I've never done, right?
Yeah, no.
Been there, done that.
And then she looks at me and she goes, I never had girls. I wish I had one girl, because this could have been the thing that she would have done. And she looks at me and she goes, I'm sorry that you're the one that has to do this. And I'm like, Ma, it's okay.
That's why you had me.
I'm half a girl.
I'm like, I'm the closest thing to a woman you're ever going to have.
You're ever gonna have.
Not yet a woman. So, we started the whole process of getting her to the bathroom, sitting her on the chair, taking off her booties and her socks and her, hospital robe, the whole 9 yards, and covering all her ports and stuff. And then 20 minutes into the situation, my aunt walks in and I'm like, thank God, because I was just about to go to the Puni. I was just about to go there. I'm done with her body, with her booty hole.
The main stuff.
I just didn't want to go there, but thank God, here, you got this, girl. I was in the nick of time, her sister walks in and saved me from having to explore areas of the female anatomy that I have not seen since I was born.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, man.
but she's doing wonderful, and she's still, even though she's frustratingly going through this process of recovering, she still remains optimistic and very positive and cracking jokes like she always does.
Her attitude is amazing.
Yeah, she's incredible, and she's looking forward to. I told her, I said, when you get out the hospital. I was telling her about the burgers that we did for our little hoop-de-doo get up. She goes, I want that. And then she goes, she wants mashed potatoes from Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I
Oh,
told
they're
her,
the best.
and then
I don't know why I love those KFC mash.
and then she wants a whole tray of shrimp. She wants like shrimp. I was like, I'll get you all of that.
Whatever you want.
Whatever Lola wants, she's gonna get. Just don't leave the fucking hospital, okay?
Yep.
I don't want a phone call in the middle of the night that they can't find you.
Oh my God, it's been a challenge, but she's doing great. And to all of you, Mama Kim and everyone else, Hans, thank you for reaching out and constantly following up on this journey that we've been on.
It's
just
appreciated.
amazing.
It's appreciated, definitely.
But that's how I spent much of my 4th of July weekend. And we had a fun cookout. We had friends over.
Yeah, we had a great cookout. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It's good. And let me tell you,
That's
kudos.
actually what came. This is what came out of it.
Yeah.
That's right. Do you want,
That's where I was headed with this.
Okay, I'll let you take it.
Kudos
Well,
on the watermelon drink.
Yeah.
you want
was,
to talk about how what's in it?
Yeah, so I show up at Tom's. Well, I got a last minute invite. No, let me stop.
The whole thing was
So
kind
Trish
of last
hits
minute.
me.
It
Trish
sure
hits me
kind of
up.
was. No,
yeah.
but we told him about this. Like
You
we
kind of,
we might
but
potentially do something this weekend.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
I'm
Don't be a
always out
bitch.
of the loop sometimes. But Trish hits me up and she's like, "Hey, by the way, we're doing this. Come by." And I was like, "Perfect timing." I was like on my way back from dropping off Mom, so I was halfway here. So I get here and these guys walk in with a whole watermelon, and
I sure
Tom's
did.
like, "Oh, I'm making a drink out of this," and I was like,
What?
"Okay." And then we're in the house, and he's like, "Yep, I bought mint, I bought basil, we got all the fixins."
I got yelled at for using some of the basil.
Some of the basil.
You sure did.
Yep. And then yeah, but the water, I think fresh makes a difference when
It
it comes
sure
to
does.
the drinks.
It sure does.
It was good. It was
All right,
good.
so
I-
rundown for the ingredients. You get yourself a watermelon, right?
Yep.
You carve out all of the contents of the watermelon and put it into a blender, to which you add about 5 fresh limes, green limes, squeeze the juice, right? Obviously. And then to that, you're going to add your basil and your mint, and you're going to blend this all together. And then, I
Sift it.
strained it.
Yep.
In a strainer, but you can use a cheesecloth to get rid of all the pulpy stuff. And what's left is this juice content, to which you can add sugar to taste. And then you just add vodka to it and ice, and it
You
is
can't
life.
even. It's dangerous.
It is. It's
Yeah,
life.
because
Look at us.
the contents you have right now was about the amount of vodka you were pouring into those
Oh my
cups.
god.
And the problem is not a problem for me, but the problem is that once you throw the juice on top of that, you don't taste it.
At all.
And then 3 drinks in, you're like, shit, I feel a little tipsy.
And I will say, it's very, very good.
Yeah, it's
but it's
yummy.
very sugary too. So like,
I really didn't put that much sugar. I only put.
no, but like watermelon has natural sugar,
Yeah.
so
Well,
you've got all
yeah.
that stuff, and
Yeah.
so that can add to a hangover. That was my Sunday morning fog.
No,
Well,
what I do
like-
is I pop a couple aspirins before bedtime and plenty of water.
I got a little freaking 3-year-old bitching that I'm late.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was the cutest little video. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. Just play the audio. I thought it was cute.
Yeah,
so
it was the
so
cutest.
after the day after, Nick was supposed to go visit his brother to go see his nieces, all 500 of them. And,
Seriously, all 500 of them.
and he gets this video.
Because I was running late.
Nick, when you are coming over.
And I was like, oh my god.
The guilt trip.
My heart. Like, oh.
The guilt
She's
trip.
never gonna forgive me. But it was wonderful to go up there, and we had a nice
it was.
time.
Spend time with the kiddos, huh?
And
She's
she's so grown.
she's like, she's gonna be almost 3.5 now.
She's going to college next year. You know that, right?
So freaking smart. It's
Yeah.
so creepy. Like
Little Miss Doogie.
she's just so smart, and she just did not like my eczema.
What does she call it?
Poopy.
Skin poopy?
No, she said, "What's that? She pointed at it. She's like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's my eczema. It's a skin thing. I got to go home and I got to put some more cream on it." She's like, "It looks poopy."
It looks poopy. Oh.
And then I said to my brother, I was like, "Your daughter just said my eczema looks poopy." And he was like joking around with her, but he's like, "You just called Uncle Nick poopy?"
Oh my God.
It's so crazy how when you're around kids, you just like revert to this like,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to, yeah.
like you're like,
But you know what it is? You start to
and she tried.
acknowledge.
Oh, and this bitch.
I'm scared what he's gonna say right now.
She goes, so she wanted to play with my Apple Watch.
Okay.
And so I took it off. I let her play with my Apple Watch. And then I noticed that she's like scrolling through photos on her, grab it out of her hand because you never know.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Wait, was it unlocked? When you take your
Yeah, I
Apple
unlocked
Watch,
it so she could play around with the little things because she likes tapping, you know, the stuff. And so, anyway, so I took that back. And then she was like, well, can I play with your bracelet? And I said, sure. So I took off my bracelet and I gave it to her. And then about an hour later or so, I'm like, oh shit, where's my bracelet? And I was like, Demi, hey, do you still have my bracelet? And she just looks at me. She's like,
what bracelet?
she's looking at me funny. I'm like, what? Demi?
What you do with it?
She's like, I put it in a drawer. I'm like, were you trying to steal my bracelet? She's like, no. Like,
I'm just keeping it safe.
I'm like,
She was saving it.
Let
for
me tell you, we as adults, we sometimes tend to, when we're dealing with kids, 3, 4, even 2, we kind of revert back to this baby talk.
yeah.
My nephew with his kids has never done that. He talks to them like we have a conversation, and for me, I was like baffled. I was like, why? He's like, she's a grown ass man, you know, like his daughter.
Yeah.
She is the brightest freaking kid.
Yeah.
Full
I think
conversations.
it's
no-
important, but we
Yeah.
also
I think baby talk is cute when they're infants.
It's like a play thing
Yeah.
almost. Like,
But,
she,
yeah.
I think my brother and sister talk to her pretty much like an adult.
Yeah.
But like,
And-
when like we're playing, it's like feels different.
Yeah.
Like it's more.
Hence the conversation you had with her with the hexagon.
Yeah, that was
Right.
fucking crazy.
That's how they picked that up.
3.5-year-old. I was
Yeah.
like, we were playing with these like they're called magnetic tiles, and they're all
Yeah.
different shapes, and you can build different things. And she knows triangle, square, half circle, circle, like all of them. And
Yeah. All the basics.
yeah, and then there are like hexagons and different. And I was like, well, Demi, what's that? And she was like, it's a hexagon. It's a hexagon because it has 3 sides. And I just was like,
6.
what?
6.
6 sides. See, she's better than me. and literally, I just looked at her. I was like, what the? And I looked at her mom, and her mom had like tweaked her neck. She was like, holy shit. She scares me sometimes.
well, I mean,
They
you know,
they pick the craziest stuff up sometimes.
a lot of
You don't
people
realize.
fail to realize the gift of children at that age, 3, between 2 and 5.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the age where your children absorb
Yeah.
from a learning perspective the most that they will ever absorb in their lives.
You know, one of my favorite moments was this when I right before I was leaving. I said, Demi, I love you a lot. And she was like, I love you too. I was like, do you know how much I love you? And she was like, how much you love me? I had never done this to her before. And I just opened my arms completely. I was like, I love you this much. And she just looked at me. She's like, that's a lot. And I'm like, I was like, well, it's true.
Right, and also, you know, like, so not only are they like developing, you know, their development is developing rapidly between the ages of 2 and 5. You also sort of kind of fail to recognize or at least identify in our older age the ease of which things come to children so fast, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, this whole hexagon thing, you know, a hexagon has 6 sides and you're like baffled. It's like, I don't even remember that. And you've already been through school and college and the whole 9 yards, right?
Well, I mean, I did remember that, but
But you know
it had
what I
to be
mean?
drilled into me.
Right. But if you had to like recall that kind of,
At that age, I didn't even know what a fucking triangle was.
you only knew what crop chops.
Luckily, I was potty trained.
Right. So my thing is, it's like, you know, we fail to recognize the gift that is a child going through their max development stage and the things that they come out. And also, too, the honesty in the way they speak,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
With your poopy arm.
Where your poopy arm, right? There's no filter, right? They don't know that, you know, saying, hey, you've got poopy skin is wrong.
It's not really that poopy, okay? It's a little red.
Right, that you shouldn't say that, right? They don't know that.
I love that honesty.
And that honesty is really like what sort of kind of makes kids like funny at that age, and sort of kind of like, oh my God, I should laugh at that, but let me not, because she's absorbing all of this. And then if I laugh at that,
Who knows what she might do in public?
she's going to keep doing it and saying it because she got a reaction out of it, right?
Yeah, no, I was
And,
it's not poopy.
Yeah, I know.
And he's a little cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But they're wonderful. Kids are great. Kids are great.
I've
But
got so many of them.
I know.
So it was funny because I know we got to move on, but I was talking to one of my high school buddies this morning. We were going back and forth on text because he wanted to tell me that he's about to have a kid, but it took him forever to get there, right? And I'm just like, I'm getting ready. Like,
Which one of them?
you don't know them,
Okay.
but
Oh, you said high school buddies. I thought
yeah,
you said
yeah.
college buddies.
High
Okay.
school. So he finally told me, that he's having, a boy in December. And I was like, oh, that's really exciting. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to name him John Jr. It's a family thing. He's John, his dad's John, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I've been trying for a Nick Jr. for years. It hasn't happened. He's like, well, you can keep trying. I was like, no, you didn't get the joke. I have plenty of nieces and nephews. I'm good. Like,
It's not going to happen, Nick. Not without a miracle.
No.
oh my God, if I were that person that were the miracle, I'd be like, no, I'm too old.
It's like, no,
like a
abort.
Geriatric
Thank God.
Take
pregnancy.
it back.
The first pregnancy by a gay man, and it's a geriatric pregnancy.
That would be Nick.
Checks out.
That's insane.
No, we
So,
can't deal with you with a fucking belly.
oh God, no.
You're a diva as it is.
You can deal with me with those fucking hormones.
with
Are
the
you kidding me?
hormones.
She will be powdering her belly. It's a little shiny.
It's shiny.
I'd be wearing Spanx and be like, Nick, you really shouldn't do that to the baby.
Yeah.
Well, that motherfucker shouldn't be in there.
Can
my
I? Do you think I can put a garter on?
What do you mean I have to stop taking Ozempic?
Oh my God.
This bitch is making me look fat. No.
You mean a glass of wine every once in a while is not okay? Well, maybe one a week.
I
That's not going
cannot.
to work for me.
Baby's first word is gonna be Xanax. No.
Remind me after the
Pino.
show.
Pino.
Remind me after the show to tell you something about someone that you mentioned about
I'll just remind you to tell me something about something.
housing. Okay, just remember that.
Housing.
Remember the word housing. It's gonna trigger me. Okay. Anyway,
Alrighty then.
so
There's
there's
a lot. We just gave a lot.
We just gave a lot.
That's okay. It's for us. Anyway, happy 4th to everyone. Obviously,
Yes.
there's a lot going on, but I hope everyone had an enjoyable 4th. I really, like I said before, I wasn't really feeling too patriotic about the whole situation. So,
But what I will say about that is you can be patriotic. You can still be patriotic and believe and love your country, even though the shit is on fire and you don't agree with your current leadership's policies or whatever. Because I had somebody say to me, oh, look, he's actually wearing a American flag tank top. And I was like, you think because I supported Kamala Harris that I'm not patriotic? I think the opposite.
right.
Yep.
No, I'm not questioning people's patriotism by not
I'm
participating.
I'm just saying that if people felt that way, it's okay to not feel that way.
Right. No, I'm just saying, like, listen, I was born here. I'm an American through and through. 500th generation, whatever. I've been here for a very long time. Some will claim. I don't know. It's just like, to me, there was no reason to celebrate while my brothers and sisters in the community are being, attacked. Our trans brothers and sisters are being fundamentally, they're trying to fundamentally erase their existence from public and spaces. The Supreme Court is just fucking haywire right now. And I was just like, you know what?
And I think that's okay.
Aside
too.
from being free, there's nothing to celebrate.
Yeah, but and I think that feeling is completely valid as well. Like, I felt kind of like in between, like, our country has come so far. Are we regressing? Yes, we are, like, significantly. But there is a lot to be proud of. Even though we have a Cittadini in the White House right now, there's a lot to be proud of where we've come from, even with Obama's 8 years and then the 4 years we got with Biden. Like, we've come and done a lot of great shit.
Right. Of course. And no doubt. It's just, I don't know. I was in my feelings.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of all the things that were going on with mom and, things going on with mom. And I don't know. It was just.
Yeah, I think that
no
makes
fireworks
a big,
for me.
Yeah, that makes a big. I mean, not only current state of affairs, but personally,
Right.
it kind of wears on you.
And
It
then,
wears on you after
and then,
a while. It just why am I gonna be hyped up to celebrate? There's so much shit going on.
Right.
Also, why am I celebrating the freedom of this country when our president doesn't even know what the Declaration of Independence really is?
Right. That's
He was saying something along the lines of like it's about peace and unity and all the.
No,
I
it
can't
wasn't.
remember exactly what he said, but it said something crazy. I was like, no,
Are you
it was
talking
about
about
separating
DEI?
from a
Yeah.
fucking.
a king.
Yeah,
Like we
Are
literally.
you talking about DEI?
you're confused again, sir.
It was a rebellion. It was the people of the
Letting
colonies.
them know this is what's going down.
We're not doing this, right? And it's unfortunately that not everybody at that point in time could really say that benefited them. Clearly, African American slaves, people that were brought from Africa here as slaves weren't included in that, Declaration of Independence. And it's hurtful, right? We have a very, very
Storied.
disturbing history in this country. And the sad thing is that even after hundreds of years, over 200 years at this point, since we declared independence from England, we're still facing those same, prejudices again and again and again and over and over and over again in different types of methods. And now we're seeing our own government, right? A government that is supposed to be for the people, by the people, for the people, who is actively in different iterations at different levels of government, creating laws and trying to enact policy that affects individuals that are supposed to be here.
Enact policies that are 200 years old.
Well, they're taking a fucking.
They're taking a big step.
They're taking a
back.
play out of a certain playbook, and we all know what that playbook is.
Some people take one step forward, two steps back. These fuckers are like taking 200 years.
And no offense
And
to the
it's-
only white person sitting at this table, but I just feel like white people are going through it right now, thinking, "Oh my God, we're going to be erased from." Being the majority in this country and having total power. And I was like,
People are really feeling their white fragility right now.
oh, it's intense. And, and their privilege is shown and has been for the past few, 200 years.
Yeah.
So sit the fuck
200.
down. Yeah. Sit the fuck down and just sort of kind of deal with it and come to terms with the fact that, other people have a right to exist. Not necessarily as Americans, but as humans. And fuck you.
The only Americans are Native Americans.
That's right.
Period.
We stole this land too, bitch.
Yeah.
So, and then, and then you think about, all of the shit that's happened, we're only in July. So let's say 7 months in, right, to this presidency. When you think about all of the horrible things that Doge did to limit and reduce the size of government and agencies that do critical work, and then you have something catastrophic happen.
And then they blame the actual agency that's supposed to be in charge of it that they eliminated.
Right.
Yep.
It's scary because, if you've been, I say this often, I'm not going to say that if you've been living under a rock, but no. If you have been watching the news, clearly we're all aware at this point, the tragedy that has unfolded in Texas, right? It's a red state. Which clearly has nothing to do with the fact, that they're going through this tragedy, but a very, very sudden flash flooding has decimated communities, have killed over 90 plus people. An entire camp of young girls was wiped off the face of the earth. Okay. And the agencies that had at one point in time were fully staffed and had the manpower to sort of kind of keep track of all of these activities and weather patterns sort of kind of got reduced.
Got gutted
By a lot.
Well,
right?
and the bigger problem with some of those organizations is that your top leadership has been removed and not replaced.
Right. And so, not to mention the fact that, when you think about, for example, the Guadalupe River,
God.
right, which is the one that sort of kind of swelled up and erased a lot of towns along the way. This is nothing new. We know that this river and these bodies of water are capable of having these flash flooding moments in severe storms, etc. And they have done nothing to sort of kind of mitigate the damage that it could potentially have in cases when they do happen. And so this is not only a Trump thing, okay? This is something that could have also been addressed during the Biden administration. It could have also been addressed during the first Trump administration. These are things that could have also been addressed during the Obama administration. Like, that these are vulnerable communities that exist in these bodies of water that are very unpredictable, and you do nothing to build infrastructure to sort of kind of get people to the point where, hey, you're living in an area, by the way, that could potentially like kill you at the drop of a dime. And we would suggest, hey, let's not build here, right? Like, when you think about Texas, the Lone Star, building codes, really, like your ability to just build wherever the fuck you want, right? And to think of local government saying, yeah, no, you shouldn't build there. Historically, we've had flooding here. And if you build your home here, it's going to get washed away at some point in time. And they still do it, right? And like, it's no different than, for example, all of these communities in Florida. When major hurricanes come and wipe out an entire town, when you think about Homestead during freaking Hugo and, what was the other one that washed? Hurricane Andrew, right? Yeah. Southern tip of like southern Miami. It wiped out communities, yet here we go again and we rebuild in the path of what we know are areas that are subject to these kinds of like catastrophic events.
And that's why they have a hard time getting insurance.
It's crazy. Right, and that's why our insurances all over the nation go up because
I don't think that people should not build there. Though.
I just got a letter from my homeowner's insurance that they're no longer going to cover me.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It's not like I've ever had a claim.
But,
it's insane.
It happened to my parents this year too. So
yeah.
All that said, what I really want to take a moment is to acknowledge the loss of life, right? Yeah. You've got currently 95 people that have been declared dead. Many more are still missing. An entire camp of young ladies that were just at camp was wiped. And I am devastated for their parents, knowing, it's already been reported that their children are gone. It's insane. And, the only thing that this asshole that we have in the office could say is, Nick, please repeat, because I can't even say those words. When asked, when are you going to go visit?
Oh, yeah. No, I think he said Friday. Maybe Friday.
Maybe Friday.
And I think the death toll right now exceeds 100 people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was hours ago.
Yeah, so it keeps changing. The last time I checked, it was 95. Tomorrow it could be 200. It's nuts.
It's insane.
I'll be there Friday.
And I, we're on the subject, but in that same campground, there were 2 Latina counselors, Mexicans, that actually were in charge of a group of adolescent children, girls, who realized what was happening. And, they took the initiative. They wrote all the girls' names on their arms in case anyone went missing. They could be identified. And they pretty much saved like 20, 22 girls from being swept away in those floods. They brought them up to higher grounds. Some of them climbed up on trees.
I saw an image of 2 girls hanging on the top of a tree.
Hanging on top of a tree.
So,
some of the girls were singing,
important distinction,
having songs with the girls just to distract them from all the stuff that was happening.
Were these Mexican Americans or Mexican immigrants? I think that's an
Mexican Americans.
Okay.
Right.
I say that.
Under the current administration, there's no difference, but
Right.
Yeah.
It's just you have to sometimes just kudos need to go where they need to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately, it was a loss of life. It's a mass casualty situation, which I find funny because current administration sent the National Guards to
Oh.
Cali for non-emergency situations, and they have yet to be dispatched to Texas where it's needed.
Right.
So you have to realize, where the fuck are these people's priorities? I mean,
Right.
They
And
don't
by the
care
way-
about people.
no.
And by the way,
Yeah.
the court ruled
Yeah.
that he can remain or retain control
Of
the militia, or in this case, the
National
National
Armed
Guard
Forces,
of
yeah.
California,
Yep.
that he could remain in control of it. Send it to Texas.
Yeah.
Mobilize. Go to Texas. Do what you need to do.
But
and
that
then,
doesn't get him views.
Right.
That doesn't get him the news he wants.
right. And then they asked the question about FEMA, right? Because there is plans to restructure FEMA, right? And figure out whether or not they want to reduce that. And her response to that was like, well, no, we're not going to talk about that right now because they're currently working. That's what they're there for,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If FEMA were to be restructured or reduced significantly in size, when things like this happen, they cannot respond. And I think that, this is what this, aside from the countless things that this man is missing in his brain, this is what he cannot comprehend, that while you want to reduce the size of government, right? Every president says that. That's not a Republican thing. It's also a Democratic thing, right? We ideally want to reduce the size of government. These agencies exist for a reason,
Yeah.
right? Because historically, we have had situations like this happen, right? Look at Katrina. Look at the fucking shit show that Bush #2 had with Katrina and his failed response that led to the death of thousands of people and the decimation of an entire fucking city. Not to mention, the failure of infrastructure that was there that was supposed to be monitored by federal agencies to ensure that
5,000 dead in Puerto Rico alone. Which
Maria, right?
Which you got to look at. What are they really looking into? What are they really trying to do? And I mean,
Throw paper towels at people.
yeah. It's a fucking.
It's scary, and it's sad that this had to happen on 4th of July weekend, on the 4th of July, actually, because this flash flood occurred on the 4th of July. But it just goes to show you that, a lot of people don't realize, whether you're in a red state or blue state, these cuts have impacts on our ability to respond in situations like this, or even to give people the necessary information needed to make an informed choice to get out of harm's way.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because I was watching a video earlier of this guy talking about all these people bitching about the big beautiful bill being passed and how great it was that Donald Trump got it passed in 6 months or whatever it's been, 5-6 months, and cut to like a day later he read the fucking bill, which is what I will say. I skimmed the bill. He read the bill and came back on the internet. This Trump supporter came back on the internet and just railed Donald Trump for this piece of shit bill that he pushed through.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, so maybe instead of like, I don't know.
The senators and the representatives in Congress that voted, which, by the way, this was a party line vote. Only Republicans voted.
2 Democrats.
Did they?
Yeah.
Because I thought the tiebreaker, they got 2 Republicans to vote with the Democrats, which is why
that's right. That's
they
right.
needed
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
I was gonna say
my
Pence.
God. You were right.
Thank you, honey.
Hated
I was gonna
admitting
say
it.
Pence, but it's not. It's the other one.
JD.
Yeah, whatever. Queen Bee. Oh my God! Don't murder me.
No.
No. So the thing is, it's like they passed this on completely partisan lines. So this is a Republican bill. No Democrat voted for this, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, finish. You were saying. So he read the bill, went on a rant.
Yeah, I was just saying that everything that they voted for was a lie.
Yeah.
And bullshit.
And we got to keep in mind that all these bills that they're passing and all these cuts that they're passing and all these changes that they're making don't go into effect until the next administration comes into power.
No, they go into effect December 2020.
Most,
December
but not
3rd.
all.
Yeah.
So let's say it's a Democratic Party that comes into power the next election, everybody's, all these Republicans and MAGA followers are going to blame the Democratic Party for the changes this Nimrod has made. And these cuts, the welfare changes, all these bill changes that they've put into place. You have to
some
be
of these
realistic.
cuts, like
yeah.
SNAP cuts,
Yeah.
and when you think about the impact of that alone, and also the Medicaid cuts,
Yeah.
which, by the way, is called different things in many different states. I know here in Connecticut, we call it Husky Health or something like that.
Yeah.
You're smiling. Why? What happened?
Oh.
Did you get a dick pic or something? Anyway.
Yeah, she did. No.
No, I didn't. Remember that email I sent to my dad at the beginning of the show?
Oh, yeah.
I just got a response.
So, the thing is that, a lot of these cuts are going to affect, this could have affected my mother,
Yeah.
right? My mother is someone that, because of her age and, she has.
Part of that, I know that, sorry to cut you off, but I know that in part of that bill, when they were interviewing some of the Republicans, they were saying, well, they can all go, these people that are on Social Security could go find a job, right? Well, here's a question for you. My mother is on Social Security. She's Alzheimer's. She has dementia.
Right.
Give me the name of a company that's hired an 83-year-old with dementia and Alzheimer's.
They're not
So I
hiring
can-
60-year-olds.
so, yeah.
I have a friend of mine who lost his job,
Yeah,
and he's 60, and he's been applying and applying and applying,
yeah. You can't find
and
a
he
job.
won't even get a
You can't-
response.
No.
And I can guarantee you, clearly, it's because of the fact that this man is 60 years old. He's
Yeah.
5 years away from potentially being able to retire, and no business wants to give him a job. And the only thing you can
Absolutely.
get, and not knocking anyone that's working, in lower paying jobs, but it's retail.
Yeah.
And if you get hired, you're not making ends meet. You're not making enough to even have adequate health insurance.
And once this bill passes,
We just
those
cut-
are the people that are gonna get fucked royally.
Right. They're going to say, oh, go work. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am working. I'm trying, but I can't get health
Yeah.
care.
And if
they
you're
just
making
kick
less
17
than-
million
yeah.
people off of
Yeah.
health care.
Yeah, what is it? If you're making less than $20,000 or $18,000, you're paying.
It's something
Yeah,
ridiculous.
you're paying like $1,500 towards taxes as a penalty because you're poor. And then if you're a millionaire,
You get a credit.
you get a credit.
Welcome to America.
Oh wow! Surprise, surprise.
Well, all I can say is people, stay informed, do what you got to do, and to know what your congressmen and women are doing, and know that although it seems like a lifetime away, the midterms in 2028, is it 2028 or 2025? Is it
20,
2027.
No, 2026. Sorry, 2026. It's 2025. He got elected at the beginning of this year. The midterms
Yeah.
are next year.
yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. While it seems a whole entire fucking lifetime away, shit's about to start ramping up. It's about time that you start making yourself useful in a sense and get educated, understand what it was that your current senators, your current representatives did, what they voted for, and hold them accountable.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. The changes that were made now and that were passed with this big beautiful bill affect all of you regardless of party line.
Absolutely.
And believe it or not, the majority of people that are affected are those that are in red
Yeah.
states.
Look at the changes that just happened in New York with Manjani.
Right.
And it's already being reflected.
Right.
Already.
So oh my God. Wait.
And of course, because he's outspoken and he's out there and
he's a
has,
self-declared democratic
Yeah.
socialist.
Yep. What's the first thing our current president does? Oh, we should have him deported. We should
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
him. Why? Because he poses a threat to your bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I'm looking for the article here, not because I want to cover this story. It is a beautiful story, but we just don't have that kind of time on today's show.
No, because we haven't talked about politics the entire time. Do you want to hear anything about gay people?
Well, we're
Nick's
talking
gay.
about things that Nick's gay. She's a big old queer. Hold on. I just want to make sure that we pronounce his last name correctly because M-A-M Johnny, Mom Johnny or something.
Johnny. Yeah.
Mom Johnny. Oh my God. Where the fuck is the story?
What are you trying to say?
That we pronounce it correctly. Oh, it is Mom Donnie.
No.
It's Mom Donnie. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. Mom Donnie.
Did you take all that fucking airtime to correct him?
No, because he went on TV and he was having, they were doing a debate with Cuomo.
Cuomo, yeah.
And he literally laid into him and said, listen, I'm not the one that got accused of and convicted of X, Y, blah, 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 blah. And by the way, my name is pronounced Mom Donnie.
Oh. Wow.
I just wanted to
Oh,
make
you're
sure.
right. You're right, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we say it correctly.
So the article I was looking at misspelled it.
Oh.
Isn't
about to get fired.
Yeah.
But anyway, Trish, what do you got?
Well, I mean, it's 7 o'clock.
Go for it.
All right, really quick. 2 quick things. One, not so great. One, pretty great. All right, so an appeals court rules that a transgender Florida teacher cannot use her female pronouns in school.
Fuck that bitch. Of course, it's Florida, too.
Yeah, so...
Well, that's the Florida State Supreme Court, right?
Mm-hmm. So because of the Don't Say Gay law... Legally, Katie Wood, a Hillsborough County teacher, is forbidden from using prefixes like Miss and female pronouns on the job.
Call me by my first name. Call me Katie, bitch.
I mean, I guess that's what you're going to have to do.
Like, call me Katie.
But here's the thing, like, you're seeing, like, I mean, we know Florida's, you know, crazy and backwards, but, like, because of this administration, it's, like, just giving all these people permission to, like, do this shit. Like,
yeah, like, what the fuck, Florida? I used to like Florida. You know that, right?
I mean...
20 years ago.
So, we're interviewing EDs for the Pride Center.
Erectile dysfunction or
Executive director.
Okay, thank you.
Candidates.
You can't just throw acronyms like that and not clarify.
I'm not going to say what state, but this person is from a certain red state, and they're like, I need to get out of here.
I don't blame them.
And it's scary to think that people are really feeling that.
Right.
Like, I've had both at my full-time job and now in this interview process, I have seen people from these states that are like, we need to move.
Yeah.
Not just for me, but for my family.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's a scary situation.
We have a coworker that did the same thing for her son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
Moved to Connecticut just because of that.
Yeah.
She has a college-bound, fabulously flamboyant gay son who may or may not be, you know, in the process of figuring out whether he wants to or wants not to remain a son, right? We don't know, and that's their choice. He's an
8-9. Remember side of this conversation,
and
he's definitely an 8-9.
absolutely fabulous.
Yeah,
I will tell you. We've hung out many times, and I am so proud that I get to work for someone who left a state like Georgia and said, "Fuck this shit. I'm going where my son." Or my child, as she calls it, can be safe.
Yep.
And she picked up everything the only thing that she knew, Southern lifestyle. And
She brought that cooking up here.
brought that boy up here and enrolled him. And he's
thriving.
I'm going to say they are thriving. They are fabulous. They are living their best life, and they just got accepted to UConn and to the Stanford campus.
Yeah,
and they are excited. And I'm so proud of this woman. She goes like, you know what? I need to get the fuck out of the state for my child.
and a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are doing that. So
it's really scary to see that, though.
Yeah.
It is scary, but you know, you got to give people kudos for doing what they need to do for their kids.
Right.
you know, to provide them with a safe environment, a safe place for them to be who they need to be.
Right.
So that's a big kudos. Regardless of anything else that may happen, you got to give them kudos. You know what I mean? So
You could fuck up a lot of things in life, but
Yeah.
that one move,
Yeah.
you just won. You won the
Yeah, you're ahead
decade,
of
the
the game.
year, the century.
You're
You
ahead
won
of the
it.
game.
You won it, girl. You
Yeah,
did it.
Absolutely.
Trish, happy news?
Yeah. So in lighter news,
No, I'm not asking you if you're happy. What's the happy one?
Well, the happy one.
I would
What's
say in lighter news,
Uh-huh. In gayer news.
something to end like just on a little bit of a light note. You know, we continue to push back, we continue to stand up, we continue to speak out, and Delaware Governor Matt Meyer has appointed the first transgender female spokeswoman for him, Mila Miles. She has a decorated career. But this is huge for both Delaware and, you know, the country as a whole, because she is the first chief spokeswoman for a governor that is transgender. And we will post the story on our post tonight, and you can look at all of the things that she's accomplished and why she is right for this role.
Right.
But I'm so sick and tired of hearing people say like, oh, because they're trans or because they're gay. No, they have just as many qualifications as
Right. They're human.
more actually than people that we
Right.
see in power.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
So-
human, and they have the capability to be educated and to be amazing and to be awesome, beautiful people, just like everybody else does.
Yeah. So the blue states continue to clap back.
Yes. Clap, clap. All right, Jabe. No, it's
No.
Trish. I'm going to give you your love because it's time to bring it home. There you go, baby.
All right, everybody. Here's Mama Kim's Minute. Number 1, the first out gay U.S. president, Pete Buttigieg, lands new poll of Democrats to be the next nominee. Number 2,
I hope this happens. I really do.
he would be a fucking beast. Number 2, Chick-fil-A restaurant served fried chicken sandwiches and donated proceeds to LGBTQ organizations. So instead of Chick-fil-A, they called their sandwich
Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
So, you know, we have a new one in West Haven, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I know so many people that still go there, and
Yeah, I know.
it just bothers me.
Never
Yeah.
been. So
Just fuck off.
Next thing I know, I'm going to see a Chick-fil-A bag in his fucking garbage. Number 3, largest ever human pride flag created by thousands of LGBTQ plus activists in Mexico.
hooray, Mexico with the clapbacks.
Yes, I will tell you. And congratulations to England, or excuse me, the UK. But it did happen in London, England. Their turnout for their
Yeah.
pride was record breaking and absolutely insanely beautiful to see.
Maybe next year.
Even in the rain, they all came out and just
Queered it out.
Well, it's London. It always rains.
yeah.
Yeah.
So. All right, Jaybird, I'm going to give you, no, you don't have love.
I
but
don't
you
have
know.
love because I'm not special. But
Yeah.
that's okay.
Well,
you're
I did
special.
have one, but it was like,
We didn't
It was
really
too
like
long.
it. We got to
Yeah.
find something else.
Yeah.
it was too
fair
Puerto
enough.
Rican for her.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was.
Anyhow.
And that one.
Yeah. On this day in gay history, the year 1979, July 7th,
yeah.
London, England. Oh, speak of. Martina.
We said N.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
No, I'm going to try this. Hold on. Martina Navratilova and
Wow.
Billie Jean King win the women's double championship in Wimbledon. Yeah, fuck that one, all right?
That's all right.
You got the name, but not
Yeah,
Wimbledon.
Yeah. That was
all
a
right.
hard one.
That's the one you picked. I
Yeah, I
literally
know.
let you pick today.
All right, let's move on to our announcements. If you like the show, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting service. Oh,
It's that watermelon, man.
Yeah. that watermelon's
It's
kicking in.
Speaking cursive.
Yep. By subscribing, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your favorite device or web browser as soon as the episode is published. Published.
Ooh, wow.
In the Beninging. You can also support us on Patreon. With Patreon, you, our listeners, can help to support the show with a pledged donation. The donations are collected monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or more.
Jay, you want me to take this?
Did you get all of that?
I think we got it all.
Yeah,
we got it all.
they've heard it enough.
Yeah, they've heard it plenty. All right. Oh, shit. Oh, next week we welcome Parker Woods, who was crowned Master Baiter
Literally.
of Season 4 of the Great Bait World Bait Off. Parker Woods is one of the most recognized figures in auto fellatio, known for his technique-driven solo content and self-suck stretch tutorials. In 2024, he became the first solo creator to win Pornhub's Top Blowjob Performer Award through auto fellatio alone. I follow quite a few of those on.
Yeah, well, it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting talk.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be very. This week was very heavy politics. Next week's going to be all about the dick.
All about the dick. Well, let me tell you, my high school years, I was able to. Not anymore.
Oh, well, we'll get there next
We'll
week.
get there next,
All
next week.
right. Thank you, Tom. All right, everybody, get the Future Method and all other products today. All products are doctor developed, can clean out without hurting your bum. Take confidence anywhere with the anal powder packs. Increase your stretch goals with the 3-piece anal glass dilation kit, and get all the information you need with Dr. G's book, But Seriously. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum accessory today.
Oh my God, she's fingering me.
Finger.
If this is him,
That is
Yes. Uh-huh. Awesome.
him.
oh my God.
Oh my God. That's going to be an interesting talk.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Please be naked when you go on the show.
when
We
you
won't
come on
put
the
you
show.
on camera, but you can be. Just so that we can have some eye candy. But anyway, Jay,
Moving on.
please.
All right. All right. I guess it's time to auto fellatio it. No.
Put a mouth on it.
Put a mouth on it. Our show is available
your
on our
mouth on
website, gaytalk20.com, under audio podcast. It is also available as a free download on Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, and now Spotify.
Yes, queen.
All right, you can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0. You can email us at gaytalk2.0 at gaytalk20.com. Tom, good luck.
Just to let you know, buddy, you don't need to self-suck. Just let me know. I can help. Anyway, if you need to reach out to us, just head on over to our website. Click on the Contact Us tab, which is located at the top of that web browser. There you can leave comments, you can suggest topics, and even submit a question for the cast or an individual host. You can also give us a call if you'd like and leave any questions you may have on our voicemail. Our phone number is 334-GAY-TALK. And if you need all the digits, it is 334-429-8255. Don't forget, we are streaming live every Monday for all of our Patreon supporters to see the show live and in color. And of course, the audio version of the show is available tonight for free for everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us on tonight's show. Ladies and gents, that's our show. And have a good night. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.